You think you have a discipline problem, but you don't. You have an identity problem. Let's be real, getting to 12% body fat, it really is not that hard. But being able to sustain that year round, that's what you're struggling with. And it's actually costing you more than you think. Like getting into shape and out of shape in repeated cycles, year after year, 6 months after 6 months. It's not just about getting into shape. What's that actually costing you? From a life perspective, let's not be looking at what we're looking at in the mirror, okay? It's like you consistently having to do the work to get, it takes effort to get into shape. It's not like, I'm not saying it's fucking simple, it takes no effort, it does. But it takes up a lot of your time to get there. Maintaining it is so easy, but that's where most people fall off. But each time that you have to get back into shape, that's taking away from valuable time where you can be focusing on other areas of your life. You can be giving more effort into your career, your upskilling, your business, your relationships, whatever it might be. But if you're in this constant cycle of, I'm in shape, I feel amazing, but now I'm out of shape, I feel shit, I've low energy, I'm inconsistent with my inputs, I'm struggling to show up for my business, I'm struggling to show up for my partner, I'm struggling to have the actual clarity to know what I want to go after. What is that costing you year after year? Compared to getting into shape, getting to 12% body fat, living sub 12% body fat, being mentally sharp, having cognitive function, bulletproof cognitive function, having crystal clear clarity on what you want, having confidence within yourself, because these are all the things that come with being in shape. It's not just about how you look in the mirror. It has a knock-on effect into every area of your life. So you, in this constant cycle of getting into shape, falling out of shape, into shape, it's not just about the visuals. There's so much more to it. Because once you get into shape and you can stay in shape, you have the clarity, you can go after your goals, you can scale your business, you can apply for a promotion because you actually have the confidence within yourself. You've built up that self-trust. Whereas when you don't have that self-trust within yourself, because you keep getting into shape and falling out of shape, you don't stick to what you're meant to stick to. Each time you don't do what you're meant to do, what happens? You're losing trust within yourself. But on the flip side, each time you do what you say you're going to do, you're building trust within yourself. Okay? And the root cause that this all boils down to is your identity, your internal thermostat. I'll explain. Don't worry, I'm going to explain. So your identity is like a thermostat. Let's say, for instance, you have the AC set in the room at 20 degrees. You open up the windows and cold air starts flowing in. What happens? That temperature may dip. Yeah, it's going to dip. It'll dip. But what will happen? The thermostat will kick in and it will bring the room back up to 20 degrees. So if we're set to 50 degrees, okay, our fitness or how we view ourselves is set to 50 degrees. We want to get into shape. We want to get 12% body fat because we now know all the benefits that come with that. So it's going to make us even want more. We then push to get up to that 100 degrees. But if we don't do the internal work, we don't change how we view ourselves, our beliefs, what happens? It might be 1, 2, 3, it might be a year down the line. You're going to recalibrate down to where the internal thermostat is set. So that is why it's so important to actually do the internal work along with the external work. Because if we don't essentially do that, we just keep in this constant cycle, which I don't want for you. That has to end. And it will end. So I'm going to jump into exactly how to firstly get to 10% body fat, how to do the internal work so you align your identity to the new version of you, the high level operator, the peak shape, physically and mentally. Because guys, we also have to understand this. There's many ways to skin a cat, as they like to say. But we want to do it in a very specific way that you're actually getting into peak physical shape, but mentally you feel sharp as well. Because think about the bodybuilding approaches. You're in the gym doing so much volume, you're killing yourself in the gym, overtraining, slamming loads of carbohydrates, and then you're dead to the world. You come home after a training session, you're so fatigued, you don't have the energy to actually go after business goals, to go after your career goals, Or else you do the ketogenic approach. It's like you're smashing zero carbs. You feel great mentally for a couple of weeks. I've done this approach, by the way. First 3 weeks, 4 weeks, amazing, but then the physique goes flat. And your energy does start to dip after that as well. But the physique, you look like you don't even train. These are the things that we need to take into consideration. Yes, with the bodybuilding approach, you look amazing. Yes, with the ketogenic approach, you're mentally sharp. We want to combine the two, okay? So physically sharp, mentally sharp is key. Have high amounts of energy. Set up your days in ways that you can actually operate at your highest standard in the other areas of your life, not just gym is life. Gym isn't life. Getting into the gym and using your body and building your body is a tool. It's a high performance tool for life to make every other area of your life better. So the way we have to look at things, we don't look at the gym as like, I'm in the gym, I 3 hours in the gym, which I used to do, like meals fucking chopped up into lunch boxes and all this. Like, we don't need to do this, okay? It's a tool to make your life better, not to become your life. That's a key point that I want to get across. You don't have to live in the gym. You don't have to live out of Tupperware to look good and feel good. You have to eat in a specific way. You have to train in a specific way, and you become a high performance individual all around, okay? And that would benefit every area of your life, your business, your career, your relationships, your family, how you view yourself. That's very important. Your self-image. You build a strong self-image, and then you can take over the world. Do whatever you want to do. World domination. But there's 4 phases in total control, which I bring all my guys through, which is the foundation of everything to get jacked and to get stacked. The first phase is the priming phase. So we want to go into the priming phase, and essentially in this phase, what we do is we set up your routine, your training, your nutrition. Your habits need to be dialed in from the very, very start, okay? And like what I see so many people do is they go aggressive dieting phases, trying to strip off so much body fat straight off the bat. But unless you have a solid foundation laid, like you're trying to, let's say you're building a house and there's a cracked foundation, or you're trying to build it on sand. What's going to happen? You may get the house some way up, but 9 times out of 10, that house is going to crack, it's going to crumble, and it's not going to last long term. Okay, so in the first priming phase, we need to lay that foundation. Once we lay that foundation, we can then build from on top of that, okay? And this is where you have to review, you have to analyze, okay, what's my work schedule like? What's my family life? What's my social life like? What's my traveling like? Everything needs to get taken into consideration. So it's not like you're just getting this generic plan offline and like, okay, that looks good, that worked for this guy, I'm just going to copy this. You stick to it for fucking 2 weeks and then you fall off. It doesn't work. You need to get very intentional with building out a structure that's suited to you. Your training, your nutrition, your mindset, your nervous system, everything needs to be laid at a solid foundation. From there, you're in a position where you can build muscle, you can reduce body fat at the same time. Okay, this is like what people always get wrong. They go straight into an aggressive dieting phase, and what happens? They may drop some body fat, but then they end up looking skinny and stringy because they're not eating enough food, they're not building muscle at the same time, which you have a unique window, as long as you set up your macros correctly, that you can build muscle, reduce body fat at the same time. Dial in the routine, lay the habits, install the habits. That's the key, because if you don't have those habits at the start, you're not going to have them at the end. So that's step 1, the priming phase. Step 2, we get into peak physical and mental conditioning. Okay? And what I mean by that is, physically, you push yourself. You get to that 10% body fat. Okay? We get to the 10% for this period of time. We do the internal work. Remember I was saying about your identity? You have to calibrate your identity to the outcomes that you want. High level operator, 10% body fat, mentally sharp, physically sharp, high standards in your life. You align to the exact identity. Again, specific to you. This is where we come in and we work deep on what is it you actually want out of your life. We have to get crystal clear clarity. But in the peak phase, you push yourself and you build the physical proof. Because it's all well and good saying, This is who I am. This is my identity now. Declaring an identity statement. But if you don't actually do the physical work, you're just yapping shit. So you need to yes, get clear on the identity of the person you're becoming, but the actions need to align. And this is in the peak phase where you get the physical proof that you are who you say you are. Boom. Physically and mentally bulletproof. Then we go into that reverse phase. So in the reverse phase, this is the key, okay? And this is why we came to the video, because we want to actually sustain 12% year round, or sub 12%, okay? So we've now got ourselves to 10%. We're now in that reverse phase where we have to take into consideration this phase, it's not sustainable long term, the dieting phase. So with the reverse phase, we're actually bringing ourselves out of that diet. How do we do this? We install basically habits and systems that we can maintain shape year round. We have to bring the food back up and the output back down, because to diet down, the food's going to be lower, the output's going to be higher. It's just the way it is, okay? It has to be done. Then what we do is we bring the food up, we bring the output down, we get you back to a maintenance position in this reverse phase. And if we need to tweak things around in terms of your routine, in terms of like your structure, you may go from 5 training days down to 4, or you may go from 4 training days down to 3. You can adjust things now because you've done the work to build that bulletproof, savage physique. And then you install the systems. And then, as I said, it's easier to maintain. You don't have to train as much. You can eat a lot more food. You don't have to do as much output. And then you go into that total control phase. And this is where you set your day up. Okay, as I said, guys, at the start of this video, like, gym is not life. I love training. I can train all day, every day. I'm not going to lie. But it's not my life at the end of the day. It's like, I love business. I love talking to my clients. I have back-to-back calls with my clients each and every evening. I want to be high energy for that. I want to feel mentally sharp. So this is where we have to set up our days that we still train. We can go into a slight surplus, we can go into a maintenance phase, but we can then focus on the other areas of our life. So we're holding a high standard with our physiques, but then we're in that phase where we're like, okay, you know what, business is my main priority right now. 100%, I just want to feel mentally so sharp, which you will from going through the system, and you're gonna also command more respect. You're gonna have a different energy about you. If you're walking into meetings, if you're going out on sales, or you're having sales calls, you're meeting people out and about, you're networking, you being high energy, you feeling good about yourself, you having confidence, you having that conviction within yourself, the self-trust, that is, people are going to feel that off you. You're going to have an aura around you that people will feel. So there are those 4 phases: the prime, the peak, the reverse, and then the total control, where you're in shape year round. You set up your life that it's easy to actually maintain, and you can go after the other goals in life. Because guys, as I said, if you're trying to get in, if you're in and out of shape in this constant cycle, it's eating away at so much of your potential. It really is, because you're not mentally sharp, you're not physically sharp. You're spending all your time doing the same fucking thing year after year. That's not what we want. Do it once, do it right, go through the 4 phases, and you can then just start building an empire. You can start building your life. They're the 2 options. You keep doing what you're doing, you keep repeating the same cycles, or you just go after it. You do it once, you do it right, and you just completely transform your life forever. 6 months is all it takes, by the way, to get into absolutely ridiculous shape, operate at your highest standard, feel mentally sharp, look amazing, have high energy, or else 6 months down the line you can be in the exact same position. Peace and love.